My name is Kisame, a lab and public health officer at Makerere University, here to present our study findings that looked at the poor quality of blood culture testing that may result in patient deaths in Uganda. Bloodstream infections due to multi-drugs and bacteria are a severe form of disease, and blood culture tests are a critical tool for diagnosing these infections. If performed well and appropriately utilized, blood culture tests can effectively guide proper management of these infections and be life-saving. We reviewed 959 routine blood culture test records collected between 2017 and 2018 from 5 hospitals engaged in Uganda's national AMR surveillance program and assessed the testing cascade and data completeness against performance targets. Across the testing cascade from culture, isolation of bacteria, identification of the bacteria, and resistance testing, our study observed a 5% recovery rate of clinically significant bacteria. This is below the 6 to 12% optimal threshold for that particular process and requires action. Further down the process, we observed that only 59% of the 44 identified bacteria were subjected to resistance testing. This is also below the 80% threshold for optimal performance of that particular process and requires action. So clearly there are deficiencies within the testing process across the entire cascade that require action. We noted poor recording and reporting practices, with less than half of the lab data we reviewed being complete and meeting the required standards for reporting. Our study findings that highlight inadequacies in the testing process are indicative of inappropriate diagnosis of bloodstream infections that could compromise patient care and recommend urgent attention on improving each stage of the testing process with the goal of meeting optimal testing thresholds. Similarly, the poor data recording and reporting practices we observe are indicative of less data coming in through to inform treatment guidelines and AMR control at facility level and at the national level, and urgently recommend urgent improvements in the recording and management of data at site level in order to make sure that there is better data and more data available for reliable decision making. Our take-home message, therefore, is that if we develop and implement a robust strategy to improve blood culture and data management processes, we would make better and more efficient use of available resources and enhance the quality of lab data for clinical care and surveillance of AMR. For more information, feel free to contact me via those details. I invite you to read our published paper via that link, and thank SORTIT, WHO TDR, IDI, the National Health Laboratory and Diagnostic Services, the hospitals that generated this data, co-authors and mentors. I thank you for listening to me and would like to end here. Happy to take any questions.